なた制約を引き裂き星の眠り呼び起こすのはどいつだ。ほら目の前弱な魂たち逃げ場はないまっすぐに受け止めろ。弱気やとそれを処理して僕らは意識組み替える。その手を強く握り互いの絆信じて戦え。
Hello there, it's me again, earthmanbrick, and we're going to be doing something a bit more Transformer-y related. You already know because you'll see it from the thumbnail. I've not done it yet, so I'm kind of winging my way through. However, when we did our mock of like Teletran 1 at a sort of smaller scale, I thought I got a lot of suggestions as to what to do with the spare bits that we had left over. Here they are here. Just some leftover bitties. And yeah, one of the suggestions, actually quite a few of the suggestions, were that I should make up the arc. And I got to thinking, it's like, well, what kind of scale would we do? Well, considering we've done that big, sort of like, I say big, we did an entire city and we used the cable ties for the building towers and skyscrapers. I thought, well, yeah, we can kind of make it at any scale we want. So I've got all these, what is it, tomato puree lids. You know, they're just like your, what is it, the tubes of stuff. So not entirely different from like your toothpaste tubes and stuff when you've got the caps. These are significantly larger than your regular toothpaste, though. And I thought, yeah, there's a lot of nice, let me just play around. Okay, I've lost that one. Lost to the floor. It's gone. It's destroyed. Decimated. Let me play around with the focus here so you can actually see these details. There we go. So yeah, you can kind of see it there. There's a lot of nice little details and etchings on the thing. And the idea is that I'm going to cover it around with a bit of card, give it a bit of extra bulk. And these are going to be like the exhausts for the arc. Now, what is the arc? Well, the arc is the headquarters. That's what Teletran 1 is. And let me just get this ready. Pop on our capture here. We'll go on the internet. The arc HQ. So if I go to images, we should start to see, oh dear, that's not, maybe I need to put in the prefix of Transformers. Transformers, the Arc HQ. Here we go. This is more like it. Now, this here is the toy version that they created a few years back. This is it all here in its absolute glory. And this one is actually a Titan. It transforms into a big robot with a Autobot symbol for a face, which is kind of cool. Nice take on the design and everything. We've got the... This is how it actually looked in the cartoon. So you can see it's... Again, this was in the very first episode of the Transformers. This is how they arrived to Earth. And... yeah, it's pretty bloody cool. Of course, it crashed into a volcano. And if I open up this image here, you can kind of see it there. That's what it more or less looks like. It's just the remnants of the ship and a small corridor peeking in, where it's all just orangified, and the rest is all just the mountain or the volcano. It's probably a dormant volcano now, so it is probably just a mountain. And yeah, now this whole design and everything that we've got here That was actually, I noticed it in something else before, and I didn't realize this, but I think it's a homage. Folks can correct me in the comments, of another show. It's called Thunder the Barbarian, which I believe was a Jack Kirby project. Jack Kirby being one of the guys who did like a lot of the Superman and everything. You can see the similarities of this bad guy here with Darkseid. And I think he did a whole bunch of other stuff. So if I go Thunder the Barbarian intro, I just play it quickly here.
Thunder
Turn it down a
the
wee bit.
Barbarian. Year 1994. From out of space comes a runaway planet, hurtling
can
between
see
the Earth
that.
and the Moon, unleashing cosmic
This is,
destruction.
the preamble. It's basically a post-apocalyptic story where Earth's destroyed.
Man's civilization is
Very
cast
cool
in ruin.
animation. And I'll pause it when we get to the appropriate part.
2,000 years later.
Look at that. Is that or is that not the bloody Ark? Yep. So, Thunder the Barbarian. I believe it is a bit of a loving homage to this and the whole style and everything, because this was kind of revolutionary at the time. Folks absolutely ate it up. The characters, it had a canonical story. It was, pretty damn cool. But anyway, enough about that. We're on to the Ark itself. So if I flip this over, we've got our remaining little panels here that we'll throw into the thing. We've got these caps, and what I've done is I've just taken a piece of card, and then I've took some extra strips of card, made some banding, and glued these all down, given them relatively even spacing. You can see it's not exact. It only has to be good enough. Anyway, so I've gone and done that. Noisy Poppy here. Come on, girl. She who squeaks. It's the only way to placate her, is to give her undivided attention. Without it, she goes mad. Mad. Yes. But you're a good girl, aren't you, Poppy? Yes. So, I go back to this. Here's the puree caps and stuff we've got here. And the idea is that I'm going to spray paint this orange. But before I do that, I'm going to finish bulking this up. I've wrapped around some card just to bulk them out a little. There's some overhang with the card bits here, but I'll hopefully, I don't know, maybe I can get away with it. I'll decide later. But yeah, what I've done is I've cut out a strip of card here, folded it in half, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some scissors, and I'm just going to, actually I should probably mark out roughly where the edges are, so I know not to go overboard. And I'll just flip this upside down, because this part I'm not too bothered about. Get it fairly central towards that fold, and I'll just mark these bits. No, that's definitely not center. About there, I would say. There we go. Now there, abouts, that's going to show us, if I just fold it the other way, it's going to be fine. That shows us where we ultimately want the triangle, the triangular bit. You know, like the one we've got here with the Thunder Barbarian. It's very much an ovular kind of shape. But if we look at the other examples we've got here, you can see it's actually a whole different section here, and the jets are all just on this rectangular piece. Now, the ship design and everything has changed over the years, so we've got a bit of artistic and creative license to do with what we will. So I'm just going to try and trim this down. Let's see. Yeah, probably about there. So if I cut this off. A nice big strip there. And just keep going. Get it relatively close to a right angle. Just tidy up the trim on the other side. There we go. And now we're going to go for this whole pointed bit towards the edge. Something like that. Let's see now. How's that look? I'd say that's pretty damn close. It's good enough. So if we have that as the back of the ship, that looks pretty cool. Now, the other thing that is kind of missing, if we go back to our image resource here, you can kind of see here that it also has the engines are kind of on these blocks. I don't think I'm going to really bother with that. But there is a lot of greeble, which is fine. We can always tart it up that way. Now, do we want to have these protrusions, or do we want to have it... Again, we've got artistic license. So what I was thinking was I would cut a whole series of thin strips of card. Something like this, and they're nice and long, and just wrap them around the edge here, and maybe around the vectored exhausts as well, just to tidy up the trim a little, add on a little bit of extra detail. So yeah, I'm thinking along those kind of lines. Just bulk it up, glue these bits together once I'm happy, and then, yeah, take it from there. Now, I might bulk out these bits a little bit first, these rounded bits at either side, just using more card, a few layers, maybe some thick corrugated, and then other parts, and then put on the trim, little trim around these exhausts, and take it from there. Spray painted orange, and then start adding some minor paneling. I'm going to give it a whirl, but bye for now. See you again soon. Hello again, and we're back. So, how have we gotten on? Well, I've hit it up with some paint, and I've layered it up. So this is what we've got so far, and I've just used these two paints, the same paints I used before. These are just cheap acrylic Pueblo, or PBO. I don't know how the hell you're meant to pronounce it, but I don't know. Anyway, they're cheap, and yeah, cheap and cheerful. A couple of oranges, slapping them on, and yeah, bit of a result. I did hit it up with some gloss spray paint first, which was just like an orange one and a white one. The paint ran, it didn't settle anywhere. Got frustrated and just resorted to those paints instead. And you can see here, I've got some, I've bulked it out with some foam. This was some foam that I found in the street. Yes. I found this light floating around. I can't even remember where I found it. But yeah, it was just this torn off piece of big foam. I think it was from like some sort of insulation. It flown out of, because it was a really windy day. It flown out of someone's skip or some such. And yeah, I got like sheets of like flat board foam. This is the more kind of curvy style stuff. This is like almost like EVA. I'm not sure. There's all different kinds of expanded foam and stuff out there. You've got your like polystyrene, your EVA, which is like your mats and stuff as well, which the cosplayers tend to use this sort of stuff. But it's really also good for your crafting and whatnot as well. If you just want to bulk out an area, you know, that's relatively flat and you want the same consistency. A lot of people use the insulation foam that you get from your DIY places, you know, places like B&Q and the such like. I don't know what the American equivalent is. Someone will probably say in the comments, if anyone actually bothers. I don't blame you. I don't bother with comments half the time myself. It's often Like, it's a lot of work with no guaranteed response, so why bother? I wouldn't pressure anyone to say, "Oh, please leave me a comment. Please subscribe. I'm a beggar. Oh, please do this. Oh, and please my Patreon." It's like, fuck off with all that shit. I don't need to ask people to do that because that's e-begging and it's beneath anyone. The moment I see, what is it, one of those horrible pop-ups that says subscribe and it has those obnoxious little click icons and then the thumbs up and things, it's like, the moment I see that, I just wince and I cringe and I just think, oh God, they're all starving for the algorithm. I don't give a shit about any of that. It's like, you're here to see content. Here's the content. Here's the... I would struggle to call myself in any form entertainment, but anyway, I digress. So, back to the subject at hand. So yeah, I bolted out with this foam. You can kind of see the layers sponged in there. I just, I laid it out flat, and then I took the flat bits like this, one on each side, and cut off the trimmed excess. This is a whole bunch of all the excess bits here, and then I just cut a strip of that just to make the curvature of the ship, and this is just what's going to be sticking out of the mountain. And at the first part of the video I had these parts all laid out, but I never actually went over them, so I'm just going to go over how we're going to make the actual mountain bit. So I went to Hobbycraft and I got this Martimer bark. I don't know what a Martimer is. I'm guessing it's a tree. Tree bark. It's gonna be hard to get bark from anywhere else, unless it's maybe a dog. So yeah, we've got this bark, and yeah, bark's pretty bloody good. If you go to the professional sort of model craft places, you'll often see cork bark. Yes, cork is a tree. That's where cork comes from. And yeah, the bark does actually create a rocky kind of looking surface. It'll be good enough. We'll just add some tufts or some flock here or there, maybe. I don't know. We'll just see if it needs it or it doesn't. If there's any little mistakes that need covering, we can turn that mistake into a feature. So yeah, I've got plenty here, and we're just going to build it up. And my plan is, which might change, they typically do. So yeah, I've got a hot glue gun here, and it's probably easier just to hot glue bits together. And what I ultimately want to do is just create the ship at a slight angle, probably something like that, as if it's flown into the mountain, and put a whole bunch of bark around it, and then just using these offcuts and other bits and bobs here, I'll just create the entranceway further in to the cave, to give the impression of the headquarters leading in. And that's pretty much how I'm going to go about it. So I'm going to go and start doing that. So bye for now. See you again soon. Hello again, and we're back again. Yes. So I've gone and taken all that bark. This is what's left over. Nice bit of a selection there. Should be suitable enough as rocks and things if painted grey or whatever. Or ground cover. Could even shred it up and yeah, do other things. But back to our build. So this is the arc here, and you can see it's all painted up as it was before. I've got orange on all my fingers. Looks like I've been eating Wotsits or Cheetos, I think they call them in the Americas. But yeah, we've gone and used up some more of that foam. Just that EVA foam I found. This is all I've got left of it, which is great. It's nice to upcycle, recycle, all that sort of thing. So yep, that's all layered in there. And yeah, I've just hot glued it, just using the old hot glue gun, just to adhere it onto the foam, and then adhere the foam to the build, or just stick the bark on directly. And I think it works. I mean, obviously from the back. You're not meant to view it from this angle, but from this angle, it kind of generally works. And I thought, well, it works to the extent that you've got the front entrance there. But what about the recessed part? Well, I've gone and handled that too. I remembered, I thought, right, I'm going to need something blocky. And I thought I could use the greeble boards. But when I popped these out, I thought, they're too greebly. There's too much going on here that doesn't look overly Cybertronian. And I thought, yeah, that's just not gonna... I mean, at a push, if I was lazy, that would probably generally work as a kind of a... But I thought I'd go the extra mile, and so I spent about, 20 minutes or so just taking up an old box of polystyrene, the packaging you get for your TVs and your all your white goods, like your washing machine, dishwasher, that sort of thing. It always comes with polystyrene. And so I took the polystyrene and I glued on the pieces of card that I had left over to make it look sort of pseudo-Cybertronian, and that's just some braille punched card. And yeah, I think it generally works. Throwing on little bits of card and stuff gives it that kind of aesthetic. Maybe a little bit more tidy up needed around there, but let's see how it looks. So we've got the bit there. There's the ship. And if you get the light at the right angle, I don't have a light coming down from above. I've just got it either side, so that's why it looks too dark there. But I think as a general rule, that generally works. It's better than nothing anyway. But yeah, so that's our arc. And we'll be able to put out and have small dioramas and stuff. We can have, Skywarp, and we can have, well, not you, White Ultra Magnus. He's a bit too crazy on the whole white power thing. Had enough of that. But yeah, we can have a few blockies here and there. And I think that generally works. These guys may be a bit too big, but if we get the likes of some other bots, I think that would work nicely. So yeah, maybe I could tidy it up a bit more, I don't know, but I think, yeah, that's good enough. So yeah, just some cheap bark, 4 tomato puree lids, and the rest is all pretty much card and foam. Foam that I found in the street. So yeah, cheap and cheerful, and that's how you can make your very own arc entranceway. But that's all I've got for you today. So, thanks again for watching, and bye.